Good morning, good afternoon, good evening around the world. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Blackjack. Today, as always, I'll be doing a YouTube comment section deck check for you guys. If you're interested in having me put a deck together for you or help you tweak a current list, I'm looking for any of the 5 metrics in the comment section. A bracket, a budget, a theme, a commander, and any pet cards you might have. Today, we have a request from the user Mrkxter asking for Glarb with the Grim Captain as a secret commander. This deck was difficult to build. I gave it my best shot. I think it turned out pretty cool. It's going to be pretty interesting. Let's go through it. Glarb is Sultai, black, green, blue, 3 mana for a Death Touch 2/4 Frog. You can look at the top card of your library at any time. If it's 4 CMC or greater, you can play it from the top of your library. You can also play lands from the top of your library, and then you can tap it to surveil too. So, before we go any further, let's look at the Throne of the Grim Captain. This is the quote-unquote secret commander of the deck. This is a 2-mana legendary artifact that you can tap to mill 2 cards, and then you can craft it with a dinosaur, a merfolk, a pirate, and a vampire, and 4 mana. Crafting is either exiling stuff from your graveyard that fits the bill, or stuff that's on the battlefield that fits the bill. If you do manage to do that, you turn it into the Grim Captain. It's a 7/7 Menace, Trample, Lifelink, Hexproof. When he attacks, each opponent sacrifices a non-land permanent. Then you may put an exiled creature card used to craft the Grim Captain onto the battlefield under your control, tapped and attacking. So, the main game plan of this deck is get out the Grim Captain as fast as we possibly can, as consistent as we possibly can. Nothing else matters to us. This is our win condition. We may not actually win the game, but it doesn't matter. If we have made the Grim Captain, we have won in our hearts, and isn't that really what matters? So, we have to be cognizant. The whole deck is predicated around the idea of making sure we have a healthy amount of dinosaurs, pirates, vampires, and I already forgot what the fourth, merfolk. We have to have a healthy amount of all of those. The way that I did that, instead of putting like 8 or 12 of each specific type, I put in some changelings. So we'll go over those first. Amoeboid changeling. So keep in mind, changelings fit the bill for any of these creature types. Unfortunately, you can't just craft him and count him as a dinosaur, a pirate, a this, a this, a this. He can't count for multiple things. He can only count for one while you're crafting. But it's still awesome to be able to play these cards and have them fit the bill for any of it. So looking at the changelings, we have this one. So that's 1. We have Cairn Wanderer. So as long as a creature with flying's in the graveyard, it gets flying. The same is true for Fear, First Strike, Double Strike, blah, 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 blah. So this is going to get a lot of types. I made sure that our changelings were actually playable. We're not just putting them in the deck to fit our theme, but they're actually good on their own. Chameleon Colossus is 3. Grave Shifter, so he allows us to buy a creature out of the graveyard back to our hand. That's 4. And then I believe we have one more, Realm Walker. So this allows you to look at the top card of your library at any time and cast creatures from the top of your library. So even if they're not fitting the bill for Glarb being 4 mana or more, if perhaps a Tribute Mage is on top or a Sakura Tribe Elder's on top or something like that, you can still cast it with Realm Walker. But keep in mind that when we go over these creature types, all of them are +5 because we have 5 shapeshifters. So we look at pirates, and again, I basically went through and I picked around 5 of the best for each creature type. So you're looking at a total of 10 of each creature type in the deck, which I think is going to give you a pretty consistent hit rate of getting one of all 4 of them. Most of the creatures in here are good on their own. They're useful. They're not just here to get crafted into the Grim Reaper or the Grim Captain, but they all have usefulness. They're all pretty good. So Pirates, we have the Mutineer, who can exile creatures. We have Hostage Taker, which can exile creatures. Kitesail Larcenist, which can exile creatures. Pirated Copy, which can copy something and then create treasure tokens. And then I believe the last one is Zephyr Singer, so that's 5 total. You can convoke him and put flying counters on all the creatures that convoked it. Pretty good. And then again, that comes out to 10 pirates. So when we look at vampires, we have Bloodghast, Bloodline Keeper. This is great at making an army. This is great at always coming back. Blood Tracker is good for card draw. That's 3. We have Preacher of the Schism for card draw. That's 4. And then the 5th and final vampire is Twilight Prophet. More card draws, 5. Looking at the dinosaurs, we have... Actually, let's go to wizards. Emry. So the main reason Emry's here is because if somehow the Throne of the Grim, or the Grim Captain, gets into our graveyard, we have to get it back out. Like I said, the main win condition is crafting and creating the Grim Captain every single game. So Emry fits the bill of being a wizard or a merfolk, but then also being able to get our most important card out of our graveyard. So that's 1. And then we have Jadelight Spelunker, which can explore, which is essentially card draw. Kiora is card draw. Tatiova's great card draw. And then Thrasios is more card draw. So again, these are not just junk creature types that are fitting the bill. These are all serious good cards on their own, which is cool. As far as dinosaurs, we have Indominus Rex. We have Sign of Calamity for removal for artifacts and enchantments. Torpiary Stomper to ramp us. Vaultborn Tyrant for card draw and life gain. And Wayward Swordtooth for extra land drops. So that pretty much covers most of the creature section. Again, that hits us for 10 of all 4 of those creature types. And then when we look at the other creatures, we have Tribute Mage. This is to find the Throne of the Grim Captain, so this is essentially your second copy of that. And then Trinket Mage in order to find Sensei's Divining Top or Soul Ring. Just kind of a cool and interesting card, and we were already playing a bunch of tutor type effects. I would like to just say I'm not a fan of tutors in casual decks. However, when there's specific tutors or they're tutors that are looking to accomplish a goal other than just winning the game but doing something cool, I'm 100% down for that. For example, my Shorakai artifact deck plays a million artifact tutors, but I'm always just tutoring the same card that flips and makes the super crazy double card. What the hell's the name of that card? I don't know why I'm blanking right now. Anyways, the whole point of the deck is to flip and make that double-sided Planeswalker. He doesn't win the game on the spot. Obviously, he's powerful, but the name of the deck is just do that and win the game. Just like the name of the deck for this is going to be try to find the throne and win the game that way. But if you don't want to play Trinket Mage, you don't think it's necessary, I would recommend Ice Till Explorer. It's a nice, consistent way for us to get lands out of our graveyard because we are going to be milling stuff fairly often by surveilling, and then it also gives us additional land drops. So we'll take Trinket Mage out and leave that in here. I think that probably would be better overall. I just personally like the Trinket Mage, Tribute Mage, Treasure Mage, that whole line I really enjoy. Anyways, then we get to the ramp, Sakura Tribe Elder. It's the same pieces I have in all my base green decks. So Sakura Tribe Elder, Cultivate, Farseek, Kodama's Reach, Nature's Lore, Rampant Growth, 3 Visits, Soul Rain, Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone, 10 up, 10 down. Always being consistent with our ramp, especially in green. You do that, you're going to have games that tend to be just better overall because you're hitting your land drops on time and you're able to play the cards out. As far as other sorceries, we have Buried Alive. So crafting lets you exile cards out of the graveyard, which means you can craft or you can get 3 of those card types and put them straight into the graveyard and then craft them straight away. So this is like a really cool way of us basically getting 3 of the things that we need in order to flip to the Grim Captain. Fabricate to find the throne. Finale, if we're looking for any particular, say we have 3 out of the 4 card types but we need 1 more, you can finale to go get it. Villainous Wealth, this is just like a cheeky little secret win condition. I don't expect it to come up super often, but I love this card and I pretty much force it in all my Sultai decks because it's awesome. Windfall is good card draw that also allows you to discard, and you're going to have a lot of ways to play lands out of your graveyard with Conduit of Worlds, Crucible of Worlds, Ice-Till Explorer. You also have Noxious Survival to buy stuff back. You have Emery to get artifacts back, so you're not really afraid of discarding cards. Looking at instants, Counterspell, not something that you're going to... This is not a control deck. You're not going to hold up Counterspell often, but it is just a one-of as a way to make sure that your game plan happens when you devote all this time and energy into actually getting the Grim Captain out there. It takes a lot of cards, it takes a lot of mana, it takes a lot of turns to set up. You really don't want to get blown out by like a Swords to Plowshares or something random that comes up. You really want to make sure that you protect it as you do it. So Counterspell and Heroic Intervention are both here for that. Dark Ritual to get stuff out faster. Deadly Auralic and Force of Vigor are both removal pieces that you can cast from the top because of Glarb. Remember, Glarb says 4 mana or more you can cast from the top. Snuff Out also fits that bill, as well as Scour for scrap. So this allows you to buy an artifact from your graveyard, but then also search for the throne. Noxious Survival we already talked about, and then Whir of Invention as yet another way to find the throne. Artifacts, you have Conduit and Crucible to play lands out of your graveyard, since you are going to be pretty much surveilling almost anything and everything with your commander. Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots, we want to protect the Grim Captain when he's out, and all the creatures that we have leading up to it, whether it's Bloodline Keeper or Scion, Calamity, and Dominus Rex. All these creatures, even though they're there to just make our game plan work. Again, they're all individually pretty good, so we do want to do our best to protect them. Masswood Nexus is super cool. It turns everything into every creature type, so you no longer have to find specific creature types. If you just have 4 creatures, that's enough to craft and make it happen. Sensei's Top as a neat way to continue filtering the top alongside Glarb. And then finally, Throne of the Grim Captain, which is our main win condition, our main win con. Enchantments, Black Market Connection, because you can have it make shapeshifters, which count as all creature types, plus you get to draw cards and make treasures. Exploration for extra land drops, Guardian Project for card draw, and Ripples of Undeath for card draw and sifting through our library fairly quickly. Lands, as always, nothing super necessary here. Do your best with what you have, upgrade it over time. I gave you a pretty decent mana base if you do want to follow it. I would say if you've never given Alchemist Refuge a chance in your blue-green decks, highly recommend it. This card's extremely powerful. But overall, I think the deck turned out super cool. I'm personally a big fan of building commander decks with the intention of doing something other than just winning the game. Obviously, that's always good and always fun, but hitting a certain milestone, unlocking a certain achievement in game by doing something that your deck is particularly built to do, I think is really, really cool. So I hope you really enjoyed it. Let me know how it goes. I want to hear about your first experience when you finally get to make the Grim Captain. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and Godspeed.